Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Aquarian Mind podcast. Today's podcast, episode number 153. I'm your host, Jamel Crothers. It's Book Insight Friday, and we're talking about A Woman's Worth 6, which is the last book of the 6-book series. And we're talking about the pressures of women having to get married and have kids by a certain time and age. Because time is put on women because of the changes in their bodies as they get older. There's always the talk of pregnancies being harder once a woman is over the age of 35. The thing is, I didn't focus on that aspect of women having kids. And how, women get older, harder to have children, things of that nature. The main character, Nancy, is at a crossroads of her life. And she's in her 30s and is getting the constant questions of when she's going to settle down, get married, and have children. The problem is she's unsure if she's going down that road, and that's the focus of the story. And when she makes the decision to not have children, that's when the story shifts. And I intentionally did that. Because there's a lot that went into the last book of this series, and the reality is no one focuses on how much pressure it is for women to settle down and have a family. Sometimes it's cultural and expected, which is the case for Nancy, and other times it's the societal pressures that kick in. Even women feel the pressure from those closest to them, such as their friends. They may see friends settling down, having children, and start to get those questions about having their own children. And there's a silver lining to this story, as Nancy has a best friend who has already made a decision to not have children. The outcomes and responses are different, and that's an unfortunate reality of families in today's world. And I hope I did justice in writing great content, not only for this book, but for the whole series, because I took plenty into account. I researched a lot, I listened to stories, I spent time on social media looking at content, and, was able to write some solid stories. And hopefully I was a good spokesperson and writer for women's issues, and I will let you guys determine that. But this story was very important to me, and I think that, no one discusses this enough, how women feel like they are seen as people that are just born to get married and have children and things of that nature. And that's not necessarily the case. I think the world has changed a lot. I think that women are more entrepreneurial. Women have different focuses. I've read stories of women who just, they want to travel the world. And they want to, experience different cultures in different countries, and they feel that if they had children, that would slow down and hinder their opportunities to do that. And I understand that, and I respect that. And, I think what our problem is, in this world, is that we are so ingrained with asking people, are you single? Are you dating? Are you married? Do you have children? Oh, how old are you? Oh, wow, how come you haven't had children yet? Meanwhile, we're not asking people if they're happy and what their goals are, and are they where they want to be from a career standpoint, and things that are of importance. And it's not to take away from marriage and children and that not being important, but it may be important for one woman, but it may not be important for another woman. And I remember a few years ago, I was following someone on Instagram on a writing page that I have, and she was a writer and a poet, and she had, published like 2 books, whatever. And, she had brought up the topic of, she has no intentions on really having any children, and she got a lot of flack for it, and she got asked all these questions of why, and that's selfish and things of that nature. And I thought to myself, I said, why would she be considered selfish? I think she's being honorable in saying that she just does not have, I guess, mental, spiritual, and emotional capacity to want to raise a child, and that she wants to live her life on her own terms. And I think that is the key point in writing this book, and, you know, letting others know that it's not about you, it's about the woman and the decisions that she's making for herself and what she feels is right for herself. The crazy part about all of this is that Will, um, what's the word? Will belittle women for not wanting to have children, but then we chastise women or who do have children and don't do the right things and don't take care of those children. So it's like it's damned if you do, you damned if you don't, right? And that's the unfortunate reality of this world. You know, we get mad at women for, you know, having 3 kids and she can't take care of them financially and all that, and you know, making sure that these children are safe and all of these other things. But then we get mad at the woman who doesn't want to have a child. Make it make sense, as I always say. So I took a chance with part 6, and in writing a story like this, it's not like ridiculous. It's not a ridiculously long book or anything like that, but I needed to get a story out about that aspect of life, and how sometimes women just want to be happy and they feel that their careers are good for them. You know, this is not, you know, 70, 80 years ago where, you know, the family dynamics are different, and the family dynamics are, you know, a woman gets married, she has children, and the husband is out, you know, making the money, and, you know, the wife stays home. That's not always the case in today's world. Does it still happen? Yes. But is it prevalent in today's world? No. It's not reality. Things have changed. Times have changed. The economy changes. You know, inflation changes. Cost of living changes. So, you know, a lot of things contribute to why things are the way they are in today's world. And that is what needs to be understood more now than ever before. So Nancy's story is a story that infiltrates a lot of families, you know, in today's world. And I know there are millions of Nancys in the world that are like, no, I like my life the way it is, and I'm comfortable, and I don't want to get married, and I don't want to be confined to, you know, a house life. I like being alone. I like being to myself. I like, you know, being social with my friends and my family, and then going right back to my condo or right back to my house or right back to my apartment and being happy. And that's it. Like that fulfills them. And if it does, it does. You know, the world is totally different now. And I don't want to sit here and say it's the internet age. It's just a shift in focus in with life. I mean, think about the woman who is a CEO of a company, right? You think it's going to be easy for her to, you know, settle down and, you know, put responsibilities on other people in a company, and then she has a child? Like, it can be done. It's just, it's a huge sacrifice that she has to make. She busted her butt to get a company and run it and, you know, get it to where she wants to be, and she's doing great financially, and now she has to, you know, shift and change, right? So I want you guys to know that I wanted to end the book series with a little bit of a bang, and I did. And if you guys choose to delve into, you know, that book, it's gonna be a good one. And I want you guys to, you know, read it and soak it in, and you guys make the determination if I hit the nail in the coffin, as they say. So that's how I went about writing this book. I did enjoy writing it. It was a pretty nice process. It was smooth sailing. Didn't take me really long to write it. I think it was about maybe 2.5 weeks for me to like really sit and immerse myself into it. And I feel good about this story. With that said, that's my podcast for today. I thank you guys for listening as always. Have a great weekend. Be good, everyone, and go accomplish your goals.